All right, so here's just another example because, kids, right? If I put up one example, they'll do just that. And so I wanted to give you at least one more, but I want you to just do it yourself. Have some fun with it. Here's another example. Okay. Looks really complicated, but it's not. Let it be easy. So let's see. First off, here's what it kind of looks like with the camera and everything, and I'll show you how I got to there in just a moment. Oh, that's not what I wanted. That's what we wanted. Okay, pretty epic, right? All right. So let's see. We've got our building right here, right? And I've laid out a few parts of it. Now, first thing that you might notice on the building is that not everything is lining up. You know what? Here's the thing is that it's not that important that it does. Because remember, I'm never going to be showing you outside this part right here. Everything that I do is always going to be inside. So you're never going to see that those walls didn't exactly line up. And that's okay. All right. So the roof was really easy to make. What it was is I used what's called in my, let's find it here, my extended primitives, a C extent. One of these guys right here. And it's kind of cool. Builds a wall for you, just like so. Anyway, so there it is. And so then the next thing that I did, after I've made it, put in the dimensions for it and whatnot, and you can play for those, play with all those, or, in your modified tab, you're going to find all the things that you want to do with that. So anyways, what I did after that, let's go here, T for top, is I made it editable, and I used my vertices, I used my soft select to just pull that up there. Now, one thing I'll show you, remember I say, go ahead and this is now your time to play a little bit. Just, using the things that we've learned already. So here, that's how I use my soft select. When you come to soft select, you probably realize already that, I can change the amount that I'm going to select right here. But also you can change the way that it acts a little bit. So when you come to it, it's at, I believe, 0, right? And so that's the curve that I get. Not this nice, smooth, bubbly curve, but something a little bit more like an arch, something like that. Anyways, like that. So how did I get that nice, smooth, bubbly curve? Well, I just increased that. And you can see that that's popping out. I happen to increase that to 0.75. If I'd gone to 1, I believe that that would be an absolutely almost circular type of effect. But mine was at 0.75. Once again, just mess around with it. I mean, if we go beyond 1, it does some really crazy stuff. Like that. Okay. So anyways, that was how I made the arch. Now, how did I make it flat again? Because when I used my soft select, it kind of pulled up on these guys. Well, that was cool too. This is a nice little trick. If you ever need to flatten something out, what I did is I just took my scale tool and I went over to one of these things and I selected the vertices and then I just scaled them, kept going until, keep going, until it became flat. So that's how I did that. Alrighty, what else do you need to know? So that was the roof. Pretty easy, actually. Wasn't it? Now that you see it, it's not that hard. None of this stuff is that hard. Okay, well, what about the columns, Mr. Kuhn? Oh my lord, those columns must be complicated. Well, let's take a look at those real quick. Actually, not that complicated. So, what do we have? It just started off with a simple chamfer cylinder. Remember how I was saying in the extended primitives, right? We have this chamfered cylinder, and it's really pretty cool. And you can mess around with the various dimensions here with it, no problem. And so, let's see here. What I did then, let's isolate this for a second. This first I made one, then I copied it and made another one. And then with that one, what I did is I just used my extrude tool. I just used polygons, and then I used my handy dandy spray select and selected those, extruded them up, and that was about it. Just extruded them up. How did I make the top? Well, I just took and I made a shift copy of this base, just holding down the shift key and pulling it up. And so I got another one of these guys. And with this one here, I felt I needed more segments. And this one I had only made 5, and that was great for pulling that column out. But for this one, I wanted more segments. So I just increased the number of cap segments. It's like a bunch. I don't know. Maybe, I think like 12 or something like that is what I made it as. Let's see. Yeah, it was about that. Okay. Anyways. And so then we get this one right here. And as you could probably tell, all I did with this was used my soft select. Let's isolate that for a second. Okay. Just use my soft select right there, right? Using soft select. Determined, how I wanted that to flow, where I wanted it to pull from. I think, I pulled it all the way from the edge for sure. And merely just pulled it down into the column. That's all there was to it. Here's the column, right? Then in the end, took the column and I just attached all the other parts to it, and I got my column. Then I thought, well, okay, this is, kind of a big old fat column, and I just merely resized it to make it skinnier using the old scale tool right here. And let's get my columns here. Let's grab a column, any column, and use my scale tool and resize it just to make it skinnier. Okay, what else do you know? That's about it. On the walls, you see I've got some of those same frames from the other one, recycling those a little bit. And so that's how I worked with the lessons that you guys already know, just trying to be a little bit more creative about it a little bit. Let's give you a little bit of new information.